So then looking at for the glory of God, and to me, this is really part mystery. Um, this may have to do with agreements before we came. But John 11:4, it's when Jesus heard that, he said, "The sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified through it." And this is talking about Lazarus. You know the story. Lazarus did die, but the Father's intention was to raise him from the dead as a demonstration of glory. Did he and Lazarus decide this before Lazarus came? I don't know. It's possible. And then John 9:2-3, his disciples asked him, "Teacher, whose sin caused this guy's blindness, his own or the sin of his parents?" Jesus answered, "Neither. It happened to him so that you could watch him experience God's miracle."
Now, both of those, and as we were going through them, we were talking about it because I know a lot of people that'll read those two verses and boy, they can get really jacked up over those. It's like, so God did that to that person just so that he could be glorified. Now, if we approach it from that angle, yeah, it sounds pretty nasty. However, if we do look back at it in forms of agreements, and if Lazarus and the blind man both made decisions before they came here to do that, then it changes the whole paradigm of how we look at it. So just something to think about.
And so, I didn't make a slide for all of the other agreements that we can make, but there may be, in the area of healing, there may be agreements that are, ancestors made. Freemasonry, a lot of those types of things carry curses that come down the generational bloodline. And if you try to get out of the system, there's a curse that the firstborn son will die. And we've seen the effects of these kinds of things, that these are agreements that ancestors made. And if they aren't dealt with, they can have impact. I'm dealing with my bloodline. We had a curse on our family that if you had more than 3 children, one of them would die prematurely. And this came from both sides of the family. And I didn't want 3 children. And God surprised us with 3 children. And, I had to work through my feelings about that and work through the curse. And so, being aware of if there's chronic illness in, parts of our family, the other generational, sick illness was cataracts. So my grandmother got cataracts in her 50s, my mom in her 40s, and I had them in my 20s and had to have cataract surgery. And so, this is a very obvious generational issue that had to do with agreements, which, still working on cleaning those things up. And then agreements that we make through our diet and lifestyle choices. We know that part of good health is eating good food, that sugar is not good for us. And, a sedentary lifestyle is almost as worse as smoking, or maybe as worse as smoking, they're saying nowadays. And so my agreement with my body in current now time means, what am I going to do about that? And none of us do it perfectly. There's a lot of times when, I'm too busy. I don't want to go take a walk. I don't want to do this. And that chocolate looks absolutely fabulous, or other desserts. And so again, there's no condemnation, but it's understanding that these agreements we make have consequences. Our words, when I say, I'm sick all the time, what am I prophesying?
What are you agreeing with?
Now, we've talked about this, that it's, the extreme of that is people never, I'm happy and blessed and highly favored of the Lord, as I'm about to die, and not sharing in community. And that's not right, I believe at all. But I can say, I'm not feeling well right now. Pray for me, agree with me, and I'm believing, for Jesus's healing power. And so this is encompassing both, being vulnerable and accountable to where I'm at, expressing how I feel. It's asking for help in the community, and it's lifting up the power of the true Lord Jesus Christ.
So, thinking of some words and some things to say, and I imagine many of you have some good things that you could say. But for me, when I was fighting the virus, that's what I was doing. If anyone asked, I just said, I'm fighting this virus. Currently I'm fighting this virus. And there were times where it was winning, but eventually I won.